Emil Cioran was one of the most pessimistic yet profoundly influential thinkers of the 20th century. His philosophy grapples with the existential pain of human existence, addressing the absurdity of life with a sharp, ironic elegance. While his outlook is deeply rooted in despair, Cioran presents this despair not merely as a curse but also as a potential source of freedom. To him, life is a burden thrust upon humanity, existence itself is a tragedy. This tragic perspective forms the core of his thought, as he relentlessly questions the human condition and our place within it. Cioran begins humanity's tragedy at the moment of birth. He argues that being born is the greatest misfortune of all. By stating, birth is the greatest mistake of existence, he critiques the sheer imposition of life upon the individual, casting existence as an inescapable burden. For Cioran, life's absurdities are inextricable from the act of living itself. Despite this, he acknowledges the irony that humans persist in living even while recognizing life's lack of inherent meaning. To exist is to carry an unavoidable weight, one that only intensifies over time. For Cioran, time itself becomes humanity's greatest adversary. The awareness of time brings the suffocating realization of approaching death, yet it simultaneously serves as the source of thought and reflection. To think deeply is to suffer more profoundly, for consciousness amplifies the agony of existence. This awareness of time and mortality shapes much of Cioran's writing, highlighting the human predicament of being both burdened by time and inescapably drawn into its flow. Cioran's view of God is another central theme of his philosophy. He oscillates between denying God's existence and expressing an intense yearning for the divine. This paradoxical stance portrays him not as a straightforward atheist but as a mystic wrestling with the absence of God. His thoughts reveal a longing for transcendence, even as he remains firmly grounded in disbelief. This tension between the absence of God and the desire for divine meaning underscores Cioran's existential anguish, making his reflections deeply personal and universally resonant. A critical element of Cioran's philosophy is his approach to rebellion and irony. To him, life is too absurd to be taken seriously, yet this absurdity does not call for passive resignation. Instead, it invites defiance. Recognizing life's meaninglessness, Cioran advocates for maintaining dignity within that absurdity. For him, mocking life becomes a way to lighten the existential burden. This rebellion manifests in his writing as both profound melancholy and sharp wit, offering readers a way to confront life's absurdities without succumbing to despair. Cioran's prose is uniquely poetic, transforming his philosophical reflections into an art form. His words are carefully chosen to turn even the deepest pain into an aesthetic experience. His works are not just the writings of a thinker but the laments of an artist confronting life's inherent tragedy. Ultimately, Cioran's philosophy can be seen as a requiem for the human condition. However, it is not a requiem that glorifies pessimism or advocates for passive surrender. Instead, it seeks to understand humanity's tragedy and encourage the courage to live in spite of it. For Cioran, life is a stage filled with contradictions, and the only way to navigate it is to embrace and accept these contradictions. Though his despair appears to be a way of life, it is within this despair that Cioran discovers a form of freedom and even a search for meaning. Emil Cioran stands as a philosopher, a poet, and an ironist, mocking humanity's predicament while exploring ways to endure and even transcend it.